Hello, everybody. Welcome in. Welcome in. Welcome to the Power of 1 Million webinar series. I'm so excited to see you guys on. I'll give you guys a few minutes to come on in. And then today we have the wonderful Earn Your Leisure on the podcast. Well, they have a podcast. This is the webinar series. So welcome, Troy and Rashad. Thank you guys so much for coming on the Power of 1 Million. How are y'all doing today?
Great. We're great. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you for having us. Appreciate it.
Of course. Now, while people are coming in, I see we got 81 people so far. I know usually more people are coming in. So as they're scrolling in, how are you guys doing with COVID-19? Like, how's it been going for you all?
Thankfully everybody's been healthy. Everybody's been safe. New York is kind of ground zero for this whole virus. So we've been safe. Our families have been safe, thank God. And we're just praying for everybody. We know some people that have been affected. Some people in our neighborhood have lost their lives to it. So we just, trying to stay safe, keep our hands clean, keep our mask on, keep our gloves on.
Yeah,
man,
it's crazy. Yeah. But I know a lot of people that actually died from Corona so far. So it's important for people just to be safe out here and take your health very serious. Something that is very real, especially where we're at in New York. It's something that everybody knows. At least one or two people that have died from Corona, and it's only getting worse. So. We're just trying to stay safe and stay positive.
Yeah, make sure people don't take anything for granted. Like just because New York has an outbreak right now doesn't mean that parts of the Midwest won't. Like it's just right now that it's our time, but it's spreading throughout the country. So take precaution.
Yeah, for sure.
Are y'all doing anything differently right now because of coronavirus or because you've heard or have some friends that have been affected?
Yeah, I think everybody, as far as social distancing, we're not really going out. There's nothing to do. Everything is a ghost town all over the country, but especially where we're at, it's nothing to do, nowhere to go. And then with the podcast, we're doing a lot more virtual stuff with the podcast and, trying to stay as safe as possible, but still live your life. I mean, you can't be in a jail cell, but, just trying to be smart about certain things. So, it's changed the way that we do business and interact with people, but it is what it is. It's the sign of the times, and for the foreseeable future, this looks like this is what it's gonna be. So we're just adapting like everybody else.
Yeah, just professionally, like I'm doing distance learning as a teacher, so that's a big change. And then trying to do that and also accommodate my kids who are doing distance learning. That's been a little bit of a challenge, but the most important thing that we've done is create a schedule. So there's still some sense of order when our kids wake up. So we're just adjusting with the times.
Yeah. Now wait. I'm getting all ahead of myself. Hold on. Let me introduce myself and then I will, I'm gonna just start interviewing you guys. I'm so excited y'all are here. So guys, welcome to the Power of 1 Million. If you've never been here before, my name is Teri Ijeoma and I became a millionaire by trading stocks and then teaching others how to trade. And so I have a company called Invest with Teri and Trade and Travel. And our goal this year is to help 1,000 students make $1,000 in a day. And that's $1 million a day. So we have $1 million a day campaign and y'all, our students are killing it. They're reaching it. They're reaching $1,000 in a day. They are doing so much. But the cool thing is they're impacting the world because when we start generating income like this, we start having an impact. And so that's why we started the Power of 1 Million series to just really start talking to other people who started reaching higher levels, reaching millions of dollars of income, reaching $1 million of podcast views, or just million of anything, because we want to give you guys that view into what's possible. Like we can make a difference. Our generation can impact the world, and we want you guys to see that. So on today, I have Earn Your Leisure. So this is Troy. Okay, I'll let y'all introduce yourself. So they are so amazing. And I'm just so excited to have them here. So why don't y'all tell us who you are and then tell us how you reached your million.
What's up?
Yeah. So my name is Rashad Bilal, co-host of Earn Your Leisure. I'm a financial advisor by trade. And now we have a media outlet, Earn Your Leisure, which is a podcast and online platform. We just started our new YouTube series. Shout out to Ian Dunlap. That's our new show on YouTube, Mondays, talking about the stock market. So variety of different educational, we have EYL University. So this is something that we started a year ago. And,
So I'm Troy Millings, have to Earn Your Leisure. And I'm a teacher by trade. entrepreneur by night, I guess. But this is like full time now. So yeah, it started out. I mean, the podcast itself didn't start as a podcast. It started out as an educational program that we were trying to put in our community, and it kind of just spawned into this thing that the country has like just taken a wind of and is blown up. So we're just so happy for that because, like I said, we didn't start as a podcast. We just wanted to create content that our community didn't have, right? So working in schools, we knew that there were certain things that weren't being taught, financial literacy being one of them. And this is how it just launched.
Okay, so when you all were coming up with this idea, you said you didn't start it as like a podcast. It was just, hey, we're putting this out here. Did you ever feel like it would get this big?
I mean, honestly, we didn't really have an expectation. Rashad was kind of doing his social media campaign. I was just kind of doing the teaching thing, and he was, he did an interview that kind of caught wildfire, and people wanted an extended dialogue from that interview. And they were like, yo, you should do a podcast. And one day, like literally like maybe 10 feet from where we're sitting right now, he was like, yo, you want to do a podcast? And I was just like, yeah, let's just do it. So we just kind of, all right, well, this is what I think we should do. We never listened to a podcast before. So we just like, I think this is what we do. How do we record? We had to figure these things out. And the number one thing was the education was first, right? We had done it for 10 years. Like people don't know that story. Like we've been teaching financial literacy for 10 years. Every summer we do it with teenagers. So it was just kind of a natural thing. Like, all right, let's invite people to the conversations we've been having.
Wow. And Rashad, so you just said you want to do a podcast. It was just like one day you just said, let's do this.
Yeah, because like you said, I was building my social media campaign online before the podcast to kind of become like a financial person, guru, whatever, online individually. And from that, I was doing other people's radio shows and other people's interviews. And I would like take bits and pieces of what I said on other people's shows and put it on Instagram, on my own personal Instagram, to grow my own personal page. And I started to talk about like the backstories of sports entertainment, and that became really popular. And people were asking for like extended dialogue. They liked the little 60-second clips, but they were saying like, you should have your own podcast. You should have your own podcast. So a lot of people kept asking for me to have a podcast. So yeah, I originally thought that it would be a good way to keep growing my own personal brand. So, I speak to Troy every day anyway. So I asked him, like, if you want to be my partner in the podcast. We didn't really have an expectation that it would be bigger than my own personal brand, but that's kind of what happened. But that wasn't really the expectation to have like a number one podcast. It was really just to continue to grow the personal brand and just to kind of give the people more of extended dialogue.
Now tell me this, how does it feel when you say that you didn't know that it would grow bigger than your personal brand? How does it feel doing this as a partnership? So like you guys are now known as like Earn Your Leisure. You're kind of losing a little bit of like who you are. How does that feel?
I mean, it's cool. It's like at the same time, it's like even if they don't know our names, it's still us. So
yeah.
And it's good to do it with. It's not just us. So we have other friends. Shout out to Mike, Jamal, man. We have other friends that we all grew up together.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like we always gonna talk all the time anyway. So now we get to actually talk about something productive, and we actually get to grow together financially and as a business. And it's like it's cool to like have a business with your friends and actually like work on things and like do projects and brainstorm on ideas. So I always looked at it like the collective is bigger than the individual. So for me, I really don't trip on that. As far as if somebody doesn't know my name, they know Earn Your Leisure, they know the brand.
That's it.
That's like knowing my name. So it's all good.
Yeah, we took that from American Gangster when he was just like brand name. They know that if they don't know me. That's just kind of what we live by. Like even if, like you said, they know Rashad, he has a huge following. I kind of just got like a little following, but it doesn't matter to me because they know Earn Your Leisure. That's more important. Right.
They know the brand. And y'all have only been doing this for a year, which is crazy. Like you've grown up in such a short amount of time.
I think this week right here was the 1 year since we like put out our first YouTube video, and now it's like going crazy.
Happy anniversary! Yeah, happy 1 year anniversary! Oh, that's so awesome! And shout out to your team for real, because they are amazing. Like I've seen them in Houston, I saw them in Atlanta, and they were like killing it behind the scenes. So shout out to y'all. Good job.
Yeah, we travel like Wu-Tang. Like people just see me with Rashad, but when you come to like the events, you're like, yo, all these people are with y'all. Yeah,
right. That's your crew.
Yeah, our crew. Our crew's been with us 25 years. So
shout out to the whole team. Appreciate it.
So I have y'all said nothing is off limits. So I have a question. So so y'all been knowing each other 25 years. What's the funniest moment you remember of each other as a kid?
Oh, can I start?
Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the things, and it's kind of the premise for like why we were starting to use the education platform, because we'd like to put hip hop influence into the education. So one of the things growing up, like me and him always had in common, like we heard lyrics differently than everybody else. So like people would like listen to music, and I'm like, yo, y'all heard that? And they're like, nah, what you talking about? And I know when I went to him, like he heard the music the same way. And this is the funniest story I always tell him. This is like he was in like 8th grade, maybe 9th grade, and he had a girlfriend at the time. They kind of didn't work out, some puppy love stuff. And they were like, yo, she's hurt. Why you not hurt? And he was like, it kind of hurts like when I see Puff and I don't see Big. And nobody got it, but in my head, I was like, yo, that is brilliant. I laughed for a week straight on it. I never gonna let him live that. That was like one of the funniest moments I ever heard. He's like 14 at the time. I was just like, yo, this guy right here is different.
Yeah. Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Story. It's to me like, you know, we joke all the time, and that's something too. I think that really has helped us as far as the podcast. A lot of people online, especially when it comes to finances, like a lot of people take themselves too serious, in my opinion, and they try to like be financial experts and gurus, and they like talking down to people. It's like even a lot of emojis, like our logo is an emoji head, bobblehead dogs, like try to break the ice. And we could have had several different podcasts. Like we could have had a sports podcast, talking about sports all the time, music, comedy. Like, you know, we joke. All of those things we do more than we actually talk about business. So it's like, I think for people, they kind of relate to us because they see us as just regular people. It's lighthearted. The conversations are lighthearted, even though we're talking about, you know, important topics financially. But we don't try to come across as like the stuck up guys on Wall Street that's like talking down to people and telling them what to do. We just here to provide some information, and we share our ups and downs, and our guests share their ups and downs, and it just becomes more of a community type of feel. So I think that really helped as far as our growth, is that you know, we're relatable, and we use humor a lot. If you listen to the podcast, you know, we always tell jokes on the podcast. We always laugh, and that's really who we are as people. And I think that's really helped as far as the delivery.
Now, okay, wait, you didn't tell your story, Rashad. You said all that, and you were like,
"Oh yeah, I can't really. If he tells that story all the time, I know he's gonna say that story, but I don't have like one particular. Like I said, it's so many different stories. I can't really pull one out the hat that just comes to the top of my mind."
Okay, I'll let you have that one. I'm gonna come back. We're gonna circle back around.
Thank you.
To that one. So tell me this, and then we'll move on from the partnership, because I want to you all are the first group that is a partnership. A lot of the people that I've interviewed so far, like they've reached their journey by themselves. So y'all are the first one that's like, nah, this is our family. We're doing this as a team. So the question that I have for y'all is, in our Black communities, a lot of times people don't want to work together because they feel like, you know, oh, they're going to get on my nerves, or we're not going to be friends later. So how do you guys like make sure to keep the partnership strong? Like, how do y'all work together?
I mean, it starts like, this is my brother first, you know what I'm saying? So there's no ties and no business is going to come before that. So we failed before, and that's key. Like we've had some businesses and some companies, some ideas that we came up with that really didn't work. And I think that's important, right? Failing together so we can grow together. So that's number one. Number two is like we check our egos. Like I told him from day one when he was building his campaign, like, yo, let's all help him build his campaign, because when he wins, we all gonna win. And that's kind of the thing. I gave this analogy, was like, I'm comfortable like where I'm at, right? So like when people are comfortable, and maybe at a different point in life I wouldn't have been as mature, but at this point, like, we're grown men, we family men. And I was like, you know what? I'm comfortable with him being LeBron James of this. Like, I'm so like cool with that. Like, he has over 100,000 followers. I'm like, that's great. I'm okay with being Dwayne Wade. Like, they both go right. They both go to the Hall of Fame. They both got 3 championships. Right. So like, let's just all go to the Hall of Fame together. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. And I think for us, you know, it's really family. Like, you know, like I said, we talk every day. A lot of people, you know, it's like you see R&B groups and even podcasts. It's like egos get in the way, and that they break up and they have fights and stuff like that. But our thing is different because we didn't start as it's not like I was looking for a podcast partner. I didn't know him from anywhere. I just picked him. Like you know, this is family before anything. So for me, it's like Drake said, it's good to make it, but it's better when people make it with you. So it's like it's more enjoyable, and you always go further as a unit as opposed to an individual. That's just my personal opinion. It's like you can only do so much yourself, but when it's like 3 or 4 or 5 people all working together with you, and everybody's on the same, and then like I said, it speaks a lot about his character and everybody else's character as far as they don't have ego. So a lot of times, like he says, I have more followers and I might be a little bit more visible. So some people might get jealous of that, or they might, have an ego with that. But all of us is family, and everybody understands that if one person is shining, we all shining. So that's kudos to Troy and to everybody else to not feel away, and to just everybody just has a part to play, and that's what we do. We just all playing our part.
We're not playing when we say this like family. Like this dude has a plate at my house. Like my wife cooks, like no joke. Like she cooks for him and puts food aside. Like if he's coming over,
he coming.
Yeah, nah. Who's coming? Yo, is Shadi coming? Because I'll make this plate in addition. Like he don't eat chicken, so like she'll make a fish dish when he coming. Like family like that.
What's wrong with chicken? I'm just saying. I'm gonna need you. What's wrong? No, I'm just playing.
I'm trying. I told you, man. This quarantine, we don't been eating in.
Oh man, has your wife been doing new dishes? Have y'all been like trying new stuff?
She has been trying new stuff. And shout out to our alumni chef Kelvin. She's been on his page. He's J-Lo and A-Rod's personal chef. So since the quarantine, he's been putting up all these videos of all the meals he's making. And she's been living on his page. And so, like, I'm getting all these new dishes. Like, it's great.
You're enjoying this quarantine.
I told her I'm going to leave the house. I'm going to be good.
You're going to be like, dang, babe, like, I'm leaving now, but I'm going to still need those meals. Can you still cook for me?
Exactly. We're going to need them all. We're going to need every shout out to Kelvin.
Oh, goodness. Okay, so we had a partnership. Y'all made the podcast. And now, what do you think, like, you didn't know how to do a podcast. So now all of a sudden you got to learn how to do it. Like what kind of mindsets? Like that's one of the big things I want our people to know. Like some of this stuff, you got to just learn it. You don't always know what you're doing. So like, how did you get it started? And then like, what mindset do you feel like you needed to make this successful?
Yeah, I mean, so we got it started honestly just by Google, and then shout out our third partner, Mike. He's more on the technical side. So he helped us out early on to like show us like, okay, this is the app that you use, Anchor, to like publish your podcast, and then really we just so how we started was we just said, okay, we're gonna come up with the podcast. Troy came with the name, we earned the leash, we ran with that, and then we came up with the logo. I came up with the logo on the emoji app, and then we started the Instagram page, and then from there it was just a matter of like building the actual recording. So I put it on my story that we was looking for interns. And my cousin, shout out to Dawood, he reached out and he knew one of his friends that was from our neighborhood was good at recording. Shout out to Sid, and he wanted to be a part of it. So he was the first person that we had kind of engineer it for us, and we had like basic mics, recorder, and we was using iPhones at first to like get the visuals. We set up iPhones, and we just started like that, and then as we progressed and we progressively got better with our production. We got, better microphones, and we got cameras and got lights. But honestly, not knowing anything about, production or, how to have a show or anything like that, we just did basic bootstrap, basic mics, iPhones, and that's it. I tell people all the time, like Max Maxwell, one of our favorite alumni, shout out to him. And he said, like, it's about taking imperfect action. And I think a lot of times what stops people is that they have this idea in their mind that everything has to be perfect, and that they have to.
It doesn't.
It doesn't. And we're perfect examples of that because we're still learning as we go. But when we originally started, we had no knowledge on how podcasts work, anything, and we literally just figured it out as we went.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Like to expedite the time, like it would take us a longer time period to get these podcasts together. So we kind of like just taught ourselves, right? The engineering part, I was like, look, man, if we can get this a little bit faster so we can edit faster, I will do it. So like I literally spent a lot of hours in Guitar Center, like harassing. I mean, I'm talking about harassing the workers there, like, yo, y'all got to teach me how to use this. Like we did not know how to use a mic. That's it. We didn't know how to use a mic. And there's a few episodes where the mics aren't even working, and we recorded it anyway. So Like serious, like so, like spending time doing that, understanding how to do audio format, and like now we got a system. Like we do the episode, Shadi listens to the points, sends it out for edit. I'll chop it up, I'll send it to Mike. Mike gets it ready to go out to the world. So it's just like a system at this point.
Yeah, I think it's important too. That's why it's good to have a team, because everybody has a different part to play. And it's like, for me, I'm not good at technology at all. I'm more of a creative, and so I come up with different ideas, and I'm good at social media and stuff like that.
Mhm.
It's like Troy and Mike, like they're better at technology than I am. So it's like I don't have to worry about like the technical side. I could just worry about being a creative and coming up with different ideas and different things like that. And then when it comes to technology, you know, they can figure it out. If they don't know it, they can figure it out, and they learn a lot more than I do. So I don't have to worry about anything technical, because I don't. If I had to do that, that would drain my energy, and I wouldn't be as creative. So
this interview would have happened.
That's true though. See, okay, so I heard a couple things right there. They were so important. Like, one, you don't have to be perfect. You just got to start. Like, I heard y'all say, like, y'all didn't even know how to use the stuff, but you did it anyway. And then, like, you were, like, aggressive about, like, we're going to just figure this out. And I feel like some people give up too fast. So I heard that y'all didn't give up. Y'all just kept going. Then you learned how to delegate, because you were like, okay, I don't know how to do this. I don't even like doing this. Let me have somebody else on the team. So that's important. Like, I feel like sometimes we forget all these steps that go into like really, really making something great.
Yeah.
And it sounds like y'all kind of push through and work through those things. And like, that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, we knew the responsibility. As soon as we started putting out the content, people were gravitating toward it. And the feedback was just like, yo, this is amazing. I've never heard anything like this. Yo, you guys are changing lives. Y'all changing the narrative. So we kind of took like extreme responsibility with that to put the content out. So it wasn't an expectation like, yo, what if this doesn't work? We knew right away that, yo, people needed this. So like once we started doing that, I was like, all right, we'll figure it out as we go. And somebody else said that. I think it was forget one of our guests was just like, yo, when you start at such a high level, you can't go down, right? Your quality can't go down. So like when we started with iPhones, it was cool because we knew that the quality was going to grow. And that's another important thing. Like when we talk about taking perfect actions, start where you are and you'll grow as you get, you know, more experience and more income to upgrade your technology.
Nice. And y'all, this is live, so y'all put your questions in the chat box, and I'll make sure to ask them. I'll try to keep asking questions, and then I'll try to get your questions in here. But question for you guys is like the one question that came on Instagram was, how do you feel that what you're doing now is part of your purpose or is impacting your purpose?
Yeah, I got into this a little bit yesterday. It was like, you know, I teach education, I teach phys ed and health. And like as we were starting this and I started the impact, I was just like, you know, what's the ceiling for a phys ed teacher? I started thinking to myself, I'm like, yo, man, they get to become like the head coach of the varsity basketball team. I'm like, there's got to be more to this. And when we were doing the summer programs, like there were only 6 weeks, but those 6 weeks felt so fulfilling from an educational standpoint. I'm like, yo, this is what we need to do. But I wanted to scale it. I didn't know how to scale it at the time. And so Earning Leisure became that. And I was like, you know what? This is our purpose. Like, this is my purpose. Like, there's no ceiling here. Like, rather than affecting the 800 kids in my school, I can affect 20,000 people who listen to one episode. And I could do that weekly. So the greater impact was like, you know what? That's what we're going to do. Still through education, but like, that's the purpose. Let's influence a generation of people.
Yeah.
Wow. What about you, Rashad? You know I'm coming back to you. You keep pretending like you're not going to answer the question.
I think that, shout out to Derek Falcon, another EYL alumni, one of our classic episodes. And he said something on Instagram. He's a restaurant owner in Baltimore. And he said something on Instagram a while ago that really stuck with me. He was like, you know, stop chasing paychecks and start chasing your passion. And I think that's extremely important, because it's like once you chase your passion, money's going to come. And it's like a lot of times people just are not fortunate enough to either know their passion, or they have to work in a situation where they're not passionate about it at all. And it's like that's training mentally, physically, and everything. But like for us, it's like it doesn't even feel like work. It feels like just like a school project, like, you know what I mean, that you're just working on with your friends. Yeah. And you know, money comes in. But for us, it's more encouraging to actually, you know, educate people and to see people saying like, you changed my life, and I'm looking at life differently. And then also just to see the progression of everybody that's involved. As I said, it's like, you know, we all friends already. So to see everybody, you know, working and, and being productive, and it's really dope. And it's really encouraging. So for me personally, I think that the purpose for us is to educate the masses and to make it a better world in any capacity that we possibly can to help people out. And it's really dope to see people all over the world, Africa, Asia, the Caribbean, to hear them tapped in and to listen and send messages of encouragement. Is extremely encouraging. So for me, I mean, that's more important than money, because it's like at the end of the day, that's really priceless.
Yeah, well, somebody took it when we did an event in DC, and somebody was like, "Yo, we got to take pictures. We got to take group pictures." And it was on, I'm Al from Baltimore, and he was just like, "I'm like, why are you so adamant about taking the pictures?" He's like, "Nah, this is like the civil rights movement. Like, there's going to be somebody in this picture who changes history, and it might be starting with y'all. So like, I want to document this the way it's supposed to be." And when I realized the impact of what he said, I was like, "Yo, he right. Like, people are starting to talk different. Mindsets are being changed." And, thank God that, we can hopefully be at the forefront of that.
Yeah, y'all had my baby, Rashad Scott. She,
yeah.
yes, love her. Y'all had Wall Street Trapper in DC. Love him. Y'all, like, really though. Y'all, like, I agree. You're putting people, like, what y'all are doing is just opening doors to all these people who've never seen success in a Black platform. And it's not even just Black, but just like, there's so many people that just don't know that this is out there. They don't know that there's people like us that think about finance, that think about investing, that think about just increasing the way we do.
That was actually the first lesson that I came up with was I used the Jay-Z line. We're huge Jay-Z fans. So he had this line in Reasonable Doubt where he was saying all Black Scott is sports and entertainment. And so I kind of, used that as the premise of my lesson. It was like, yo, when we think success, who we think of. So I had put these pictures of 10 different athletes and entertainers, and they knew every one. And then I put another picture of the 10 wealthiest Black people in the world, and they only knew Oprah. And I was like, damn, this theory might be true. So like, let's open the doors. And like, that's what we get now. Like Early Leisure, it turns Derek Falcon, it turns the Wall Street Trapper into household names, because it's like, yo, they're doing that. You know what I'm saying? The Alex Burtons of the world, they become more household names, and now people have more ideas of things that they can aspire to be.
Yeah, I think that's one of the dope parts for me. It feels like it's like Russell Simmons or like Diddy or somebody like that, where it's like we're giving platforms to people and to watch their growth after they come on the show. So it's like a Wall Street Trapper to see his growth after he came on the show, and MG the mortgage guy, and now Ian Dunlap, and to see these people like overnight have 30,000 new followers and just become like internet stars. And not a lot of people knew who they were before they came on Early Leisure. So of course they did a lot of work for themselves after they came on the show, but we definitely springboarded a lot of people, and that's dope too, because it's like now we actually become an outlet for entrepreneurs, and the same way the Breakfast Club or the same way a record label can make a artist, big overnight. Now we can do that for entrepreneurs and investors and people in the community that nobody might not have heard of. That's brilliant minds that can actually probably definitely add more value than a rapper or an athlete to somebody's life. And now these people get a platform, and that's encouraging. That's dope.
It's crazy. Yeah, we get that like maybe five times a day. Yo, look, I'm gonna be on your show in a year. The response is always the same. Yo, I can't wait. Let's do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's do it.
Now, does that feel like a lot of pressure? Because now you all have to decide who's going to be on your platform. So how do y'all deal with or does it even feel like pressure first? And then how do you deal with that?
No, it's not pressure, but it's like, we definitely, obviously, it's a process to pick people to come on. It's just a matter of timing and the right topic and a variety of different factors. But it's not really too much pressure. Usually, we kind of know, like, this makes sense to bring this person on for this reason. And so we haven't talked about this topic yet. And it's all about patience too. A lot of times people want to come on the show, but it just might not be a right time. It's not personal. It just might not be the right time to cover that. We might already cover the topic. We might not, we just kind of have it set. But yeah, I mean, we don't really look at it as pressure. I don't think it's just a matter of, getting interviews done. And usually all the interviews that we do are pretty good as far as how we feel about it. And then the time that we put it out just depends on when we think it's a good time to put it out.
Yeah, timing is very key. Time is very key.
I learned that too. Timing is everything. And there's even times where like I've wanted to be on a show and it didn't happen then, but then when it came back around, it was even better. Like they had a bigger audience. I was doing different things. So timing is everything.
Yeah, we have some people that like, you know, that we've done that episode. They're like, yo, when's it coming out? It's like, yo, we got it. It's coming. It's coming, yo. When the time is right, it's gonna drop. And then when it drops, it's like, yo, thank you so much. It's like, yo, we trust the process.
That's true. Now tell me this: who has been? I'm gonna ask all the questions, so just be ready. No, who's been your favorite interview? And you each got to answer different.
Just one.
Rashad, don't try to not answer.
Just one. How many we get? How many we get?
You get 2 per person.
You go first. I know you're gonna say.
Yeah. Shout out to Chris Gotti from Murder Inc. That's one of my favorites. I just really, growing up on music and that whole industry, and Chris is just a really special guy. So to hear stories about DMX and Jay-Z and Jay Prince and Suge Knight, and it was a really dope episode for us because it was like it's everything that we talked about, from entertainment to sports to he had a construction company, to the ups and downs, to fighting with the federal government. So that's definitely one of my top 3 episodes. And then episode 11, Derek Falcon, shout out to Derek, restaurant owner in Baltimore. That really changed the trajectory of Earn Your Leisure, because before that, we were just kind of doing like backstories on business, and like we would like do case studies and stuff like that on like different businesses that exist. And he's really the first person that came on the show that like gave his whole blueprint of how he runs his business. And that became kind of like a running theme after, where everybody that comes on the show kind of like breaks down their industry. But he was like the first person to really do that. And that was a magical episode. So there's a lot, but if I had to pick my personal top 2, that would be my top 2 right there. So like
Derek Falcon is obviously in my list just because the importance of it. And a lot, like even with the Chris Gotti episode, like the episode that came out, that was just for the audio. We had conversations for like 3 hours after, 2 hours before. Same thing with Derek. But I'm gonna put Wall Street Trapper as one of my favorites, just because of the energy and the story of him coming to Houston to meet us, and taking like he jumped off the porch and like, yo, I'm coming to New York, and came to my house and we shot the episode. And as soon as we finished it, we looked at him and was like, yo, this is a classic. This is a classic one. We knew it right away. And we actually ran into him the next night at a charity event. And he was like, I was about to walk in. I looked behind me. I'm like, yo, what you doing here? He's like, what you doing here? I'm like, yo, bro, I told him, I said, listen, we're going to put this out next week. It's going to be a classic. I can't wait. He's like, for real? I'm like, nah, definitely. And to see the response that episode got was just amazing. So that's in there. And one of our newer ones is up there as one of my favorites. The brother Kwame Anku. Venture capitalist. He was just the level of intelligence and the poise that he spoke with. Like he had a 3-hour conversation with us after the episode that was just mind-boggling. And his aspirations and wanting to, bring Earn Your Leisure international. One of my favorite people, and definitely one of the favorite episodes that we put out.
Wow. Okay. And shout out to Nita as well from House Hunters, because I know that she does a lot of stuff with you guys too.
She was she was with Wall Street Trapper. Well, when we met him at the city the night after, when we went to that charity event, she was with him. So yeah, shout out to Nita.
Yeah, she could vouch for that. Like I was walking in line, I'm like, yo, what you doing here? He had a suit on. He's like, yo, I just got this suit. I'm ready to go in. I was like, let's do it.
Was she looking dapper with a suit?
Yo, I'm trying to like that episode Power. He was like, yo, this look like pure. That's the name of the joint there? Yeah, he was like, this is crazy, man, because like he hasn't been in New York like that. He's from Louisiana. So when he came in there, he was like, yo, this looked like an episode of Power. And I was like, yo, this is New York, bro. You gotta come up with it. I can't wait to get back up here with my boy.
I actually talked to Wall Street Chapter today, and I talked to Ian Dunlap yesterday.
Oh, those are guys.
good guys, real good guys. Now tell me this. So if those are your favorite episodes, you might have nuggets from other ones that, like, maybe you love this nugget, but it wasn't your favorite episode. Like, what do you think are some of the top nuggets that you've gotten from people that you talk to?
What's a good one?
For me, MG the Mortgage Who Won strategy, where it's like to buy multifamily homes first before you buy your own personal dream home. And he kind of, articulated the whole strategy behind that, and to move up in neighborhoods, like to start in like a decent neighborhood with a multifamily, like a 5-unit, then a 4-unit, then a 3-unit, then a 2-unit, then a 1-unit, and keep moving up in neighborhoods as you move down in units until you get to your ultimate dream home. And by the time you get to your ultimate dream home, you have like 20 units that are paying for your ultimate dream home. So choose property because of the way that you explained it. And so that nugget is definitely one of the biggest gems that was ever dropped on Earning Leisure. And that was a game changer.
That was a big one. Yeah, that was a big one. I think he mentioned the Max Maxwell statement when he said take imperfect actions. I thought that was a big one. And Derek Falcon, he said something on our episode like people major in minor things. And like that is powerful. Like, wow. Like we really worry about things that are so insignificant. So that's something that I always carry with me. And I say that to everybody that get a chance. Like the things that we worry about are so insignificant. Like we have real things we could be working on. Let's focus on those.
And then also shout out to Lord of the Slumps, Fernando, another episode that's a classic for us. And he really broke down how to get money from banks with hard money loans and asset-based lending. I always heard about hard money loans, but I wasn't too familiar with that. And that's another game changer because it's like, a lot of times people feel like the only way they can get money. Now it's a little different because of Corona, but under normal circumstances, the only way they can get money is through a traditional bank, and you have to have a great credit score and a great job. And it's like with the asset-based lenders and the hard money, they don't care about that stuff. So that was another nugget that was dropped that I know, once again, a lot of people change their perspective on real estate and how to purchase properties. So
and our guests too. So like when the people come on, like we speak to them, they're like, yo, I listened to that episode. Yeah, that changed my life. So like, it's like an ecosystem. It's a community where it's like every person that's come on is learning from the person that was on before, which just makes it even doper.
Yeah, that's true. And I have some questions coming up now. Shout out to Kendra. Kendra's like, are you guys, Teri, will you be on the podcast soon? Timing, girl, timing. No, just playing. So Blanche says, what's your best advice for a beginner who wants to start a podcast? And then she said, any books that you'll recommend about it?
We actually did a course on our website, UIL University, how to start a podcast, like an hour-long course. That's a good resource. And then we did an episode with Mandy B. Shout out to Mandy B.
Yeah.
Horrible Decisions podcast. And that pretty much whole episode is about podcasts, how to start a podcast. But my advice first and foremost is just to figure out how you're going to be different. Because there's a lot of podcasts that come up now, and a lot of them are not original. A lot of them are just kind of the same. Everybody has an opinion, and it's like just like trending topics and just a bunch of random stuff. So I think personally it's better to be specific and have like one particular area that you double down on, as opposed to like covering sports one week and cooking one week and politics the next week. And it's like, so our thing is business, but with business we have a broad range of stuff to talk about, but it's all related to business. So if you want to do fitness, cooking, spiritual, I think that first is like to find your niche as far as what you want to double down on. And then from there, social media is what really has helped us grow the podcast. So we had a social media following before we started the podcast. So that's something that you might want to think about as well, as like maybe growing online first, maybe like waiting, because it's like you can have the best podcast in the world, but if you don't have a following, then nobody knows you have a podcast and nobody's going to listen to it. So it's going to take a little bit longer, but that's a couple suggestions.
Yeah, definitely. Like you said, like we didn't start at zero. Like you already had built a personal page, so people were anticipating the extra dialogue. So that's important, and being consistent. Having like people know every Tuesday at 5 we're gonna put out an episode. Every day we're gonna post articles. So having that consistency is vital, because they know, like I said, like people look to us as a news outlet and a way to get information. So we take huge responsibility in knowing that. So we make sure we provide daily.
Yeah.
How do y'all keep yourself consistent?
We got a system that works, man. Like and credit to Shadi, man. Like he's a magician when it comes to social media. Like we're not even going to try to hide the fact that this guy's amazing at it. So I tried like early on when he already had his personal page and we had created Earning Leisure, And I had tried, no joke, I wake up early, obviously for education, I'm up pretty early. And I was trying to write a post and it was taking me like an hour. And I'm just like, yo, bro, here's the article, man. I tried to write up and he was just like, I bet. And from that moment on, I was like, look, listen, I'm not great at this. Here's what I'll do. Like, I'll send you every article that I read. And then like, you could just pick and choose what you want and just post that. And since that, like just putting that ego to the side, like, yo, you're great, I'm not. Like every day, like he knows when he wakes up, he's gonna have at least 5 or 6 articles. So it saves him the time too. It actually helps him because now he doesn't have to go looking for articles. He knows like, yo, all right, I'm just pick from the ones that he just sent me.
And it's not you're great, I'm not. It's just that you're great at something different. It's like I'm great at the research, you great at the putting it out.
But that's the thing. So he knows, like, you know what? Like he may not want to. Like if I've ever sent him a long text, he's like, yo, it's too much, man. So I know, like, for him to read a 3-page article is going to be too much. So like I'll read it. I'm like, all right, yo, I think this will work. So like I literally intentionally go and look in publications for articles I know that our community and our audience will be interested in, and I'll ship them. Sometimes he uses them, sometimes he don't. So as long as he has them and he doesn't have to take time out of his day to go look for them, it saves us time in doing it. And it saves me time of 2 hours trying to write a post. Like he'll meal prep these joints.
Yeah. Now, this is a good question coming from Aisha. She says, what financial literacy topic do you feel are lacking the most in the Black community?
Everything. That's why we cover everything. But I mean, it's just so much. You start with the basics as far as the power of savings. And this is something that is extremely basic. You don't have to have really any financial education to understand how to save money, but discipline is something that's extremely underrated. Budgeting is something that's extremely underrated. Living below your means is something that's extremely underrated. So, we talk about a lot of stuff, unfortunately, that a lot of people don't know, whether it's credit, whether it's real estate, whether it's stocks, whether it's retirement, whether it's, so much different stuff. But I mean, you talk about the basics. I think that's something that a lot of times people look past, don't fully understand. Like, the importance of budgeting is extremely important. And I think times like this shows that even more, where it's like, if you don't have an emergency savings, you could be in the middle of a financial crisis. If you haven't budgeted correctly, if you're living beyond your means, if you have maxed out your credit cards, it's all good when money's coming in. But once money stops coming in, now you realize, like, these aren't the best decisions to be making. So it's just like, I look at it, it's just like eating. It's like, it's not really difficult to eat good, but it takes discipline and it takes willpower and it takes, structure to not eat out every night and to cook your meals and to eat vegetables as opposed to chips. That takes discipline. So it's the same thing with the financial stuff. We talk about a lot of high level stuff, but the basics as far as all of that stuff is what most people lack.
Nah, I mean, pick a topic. I agree, 1,000%. And that is kind of why when we looked at the program, was like, we need to add it, because the premise was these kids were about to come in contact with money. They were 14-year-olds. It was the first time they were going to come in contact with money. And we wanted them to understand the importance of it. And that's the first lesson you ever taught, was the save, share, spend, right? Save, share, spend. You have the 3 S's up. And we wanted to get them familiar with this idea, this concept, with the term, like as they grow, they'll remember these concepts. So there's no topic that in our community we feel like is more important. Yeah, they're all important.
For sure.
They are. Especially if somebody so I'm a day trader, but you can't get to trading and day trading until you've saved up some money. So you got to learn that budgeting part first. Like, it all kind of goes on top of each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, our kids, we told them at 13 what stocks work. But we realized, like, there's adults who don't know what stocks are, how they work. There's adults who don't know what a credit score is. So it's like, and that's one of the brilliant things we said early on. It's like, there's no age limit to financial literacy. Right? Somebody at 13 might know something more than somebody that's 34. So we take that into account too. Yeah.
And for those in the chat, they're saying, how did they make their million? Who are they? So this is Earn Your Leisure. They have a podcast that's online. They have a YouTube channel. Y'all can correct me too. I'm a brag on you, and then you can correct me. So they have a YouTube channel. They have a podcast, and they've made over 2 million downloads. They have over, how many followers do y'all have now?
Instagram is 220,000 and 21,000, and YouTube 71,000 in a year.
In a year, y'all.
Yeah.
So for all those people that are like, well, you know, I started too late, I can't do it. No, they did all this in a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can change your life in a year. I've seen it happen before firsthand, and it's like never underestimate what 12 months can do, and you can literally change your whole life in a year. But the thing about it is that 1 year changing your life might take 5 years before that to prep for it. So it's like people see the success of the podcast and they're like kind of amazed by it because it's like we haven't spent any money on marketing, we haven't done any promotion, anything like that. So to go that fast in 1 year is pretty astonishing. But it's like it took years before that. Like I would go on my own personal page for 3 years before the podcast started. So really the podcast really started 3 years prior to that. So when you look at it from that standpoint, it's like, okay, it's actually like a 4-year process as opposed to just a 12-month process.
Yeah.
So, and everybody's situation is different. You know, everybody runs their own race. It's a marathon, like Nip said. So, you know, try to just encourage people that you can't really look at somebody else as far as like to say, okay, well, they just started a year ago and they have all of these followers and all of this stuff. It's like, you know, some people blow up overnight. Some people takes 10 years, but ultimately the journey is more important. And there really is no finish line. We still going, and you know, we're just enjoying the process.
Now, where do you guys see yourself? Like, what's a goal? Like, what's your next big goal?
Ooh, I mean, we said earlier, I think we're a full-fledged media outlet. So we want to touch all forms of media, TV, radio, whatever. You know, I think that's where we're headed with it. Because like I said, we have no ceiling in this. And we know that there's a large community that is following it. But we know there's a lot of people who don't know. Like there's people who stepped in here. So we definitely want to touch more ears, and we definitely want to, you know, be seen as something that people can aspire to be. And we want to give it to them from a voice that looks like them, sounds like them, walks and talks like them.
Yeah, I think you need to
Go
put
ahead.
back on what he said. It's just a whole media outlet. And like we, you know, shout out to Ian. That's our first show that we kind of are doing under our umbrella, Market Mondays on YouTube. That's a weekly YouTube show that we just started last Monday, and we looking to do more stuff like that, where it's not just us talking, where we're highlighting other people, maybe some television stuff. Variety of different things, but I think growing Earn Your Leisure as a media outlet and then also as an educational platform. So we have our private real estate Facebook group. We have EYL University, and these are things that we really put a lot of attention into and passion into. So I think both of those, from the media side and from the educational side, that's where we see the growth.
And so this all happened in a year. How has this changed your life?
I mean, for me personally, I speak for me personally, it's multiple. I've always believed in multiple streams of income. So, you know, I'm a financial advisor. I'm still a financial advisor, but this has provided several other multiple streams, like probably like 5 or 6 other multiple streams of income just from Earn Your Leisure. So from a financial standpoint, it has definitely helped as far as it helped. You know what I'm saying? It helped. It helped for sure. But even like I said, even bigger than a financial standpoint, just having something that you're passionate about and just being able to wake up and work on things and work with your friends and to have a company with your friends is something that's really, I really hope that everybody gets that opportunity at some point in life, because for me, as an entrepreneur, it's like I've always been an entrepreneur my whole life, but I've really just been kind of doing my own thing. So now I get to actually do it with a group of people that I speak to, that I grew up with. And like I said, it doesn't even feel like work. It's just like we just having conversations, and we just, you know, it's just a lot of fun that we're having, and we traveling, you know, before Corona, we get to travel and meet people and do different events, and it's just really dope. Yeah. So that's how it's definitely changed my life. Sure.
I mean, like you said, the financial piece is huge. We always stress that having one income is too close to none. So like definitely having multiple streams has helped us, and it's given us purpose, right? Especially in these times where a lot of people are home. We're still running our business from home. So it gives us like, yo, we got something to do Monday. We got an interview to do Wednesday. We got something to do Saturday. Where it's like we look forward to these things, even though like, you know, work is still going on for me. It's like, all right, I still got a lot of things going on. And from a professional standpoint, it really hasn't changed. I kind of like have a duality type lifestyle, really. Like I'll go to school and my colleagues have no idea that I have a podcast. right? So it's weird. Like I walk down the street, most people don't know that I'm a teacher, so it's kind of cool. But I could travel to Houston and people like we were eating out, and somebody was like, "Yo, earn your leisure." Like, "Yo, I love y'all." I was like,
Stars.
"Yeah, it's crazy." Like I'll go out of state, and people recognize us, and right here it's just kind of like people they know us. Like I don't think they're too surprised by any of it because this is what we've always done. Like we've always argued with each other, we've always had conversations, we've always led conversations. So it's kind of like, yo, there goes Shotty and Troy, roll them down the street. You know what I'm saying? But it's dope though, because I see a lot of people, trying to start podcasts. I see a lot of people creating their own clothing lines, which is encouraging, right? They're trying to create multiple streams, which is dope.
Yeah. Now I'm a rapid fire some of these questions. I know we're getting towards the end, but so Anthony says, how do you get over your fears and just jump in?
Having fears. Honestly, it's like I look at it. I always say all the time, you can't lose if you started with nothing. So it's like we didn't have any expectations of the podcast, and it's not like we came in as this multi-billion-dollar media corporation. So I mean, what's the fear? It's like the fear is that it doesn't work out. But if it doesn't work out, I mean, you kind of back to where you started originally anyway. Yeah. So I don't think we really have too much fear as far as that's concerned, because it's like what's the downside? The upside is much more greater than the downside. The downside is like it doesn't work out. It's like, all right, well, you just go back.
You tried.
We just gonna keep what we always do. Like, yeah, like I think somebody asked us that question. Yeah, what if y'all failed? And it was like we literally never had that thought. Like straight up, we never had a thought like, what if we failed? Because like we said, it didn't cost us anything to do anything. We didn't pay anybody any studio time to be here. It was just kind of like, yo, we just gonna do this, and people gravitated toward it right away.
Yeah.
And if the point too is just educating the masses, you did your job. You educated. Now, if they came or not, then hey, like at least you did what you set out to do. So that's what's up. Yeah. And then Tonda says, I'm gonna keep rapid firing y'all. Yeah. So Tonda says, was there a big L that really knocked you down, or was it a huge learning experience along the way?
Man.
Nah, I don't think it was a big L. It's ups and downs. It's ups and downs in life. Just from us, like just outside of the podcast, we always, I'll never say an L because a loss is like only a loss. It's not a loss, it's a lesson. So we lost a bunch of money in cryptocurrency a few years ago. We started a DJ app that we lost money on a few years ago. We had a lot of different businesses. That's another thing too. This isn't the first business that we started. We had a lot of different businesses that didn't work out, but I never really look at it as a loss. I just look at it like each experience you learn, you take something from, and we just move forward and become stronger after that.
Yeah, we never stop moving. Like I said, once we got a new idea, if somebody in the group has an idea, let's explore it to its fullest. If it don't work, all right, let's move on to the next idea. It's just that on your leisure, when the idea came and it stuck, it was like, oh, we got something. Let's keep going with this.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. People, it's like we had a fashion blog, we had a lot of different stuff, and it's like
shout out to Fashion Week.
And everything that we did at that time, it seemed like a great idea, but it just wasn't. So it's like just because one thing doesn't work out for you, don't get discouraged, because it's like you never know what the next opportunity could be. So like I said, this is probably our fourth or fifth different venture that we started, and each other venture we felt confident about, but it didn't work out. But now this is working out. So you never know which one. It's like baseball. Like you just got to keep swinging. You never know when you're going to hit your home run.
So question. So when you lost a lot of money in cryptocurrency, like how did y'all bounce back from that?
Well, the first, we still bouncing back. A lot. I mean, some of us lost more than others, but it was a learning experience and understanding like, yo, we need to, especially now, like when we're looking at stocks, like, yo, we really got to do our research. We really got to understand what we put our money in. And number 2 or 3 is like, yo, don't invest what you're not afraid to lose. So that was something that we had to learn. It was a hard lesson, but it was a lesson learned.
I mean, yeah, for me, I mean, how I got back, just work. That's it. It's like it's done. You can't cry over spilled milk. You make some mistakes, get greedy sometimes, and lost money. But hey, it is what it is.
We're gonna make more. We gotta make more. That's all.
Yeah, just put my head down and just kept working, and that was it. So that's how I personally got back. My personal story, how I lost money and just started working and got the money back. That's it.
And I think that's important for some people to hear right now, especially with COVID-19. So like especially in a few weeks ago, their accounts might have, if they were investing in stocks, their accounts might have dropped 30%. And it's like, okay, well, you lost some money. That's okay. Now it's starting to come back up. So it's looking a little better now, but you just got to keep working, and you have to have some kind of risk management plan too. I do think it's important that if you're going to invest in anything, have some kind of risk in there to protect yourself, but you just got to keep working.
Yeah.
You know that sometimes you're going to lose, you just get back up.
If you invested in the companies after doing all your research and all your, your analysis, is like, those are still good companies if you did the research. It's just that we're in a health crisis, not a financial one. Well, it could turn into a financial one, but those
definitely financial.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to turn into a financial, but those are still good companies. There's nothing that you did wrong. It's just like, we have a health crisis that's taken over the global world.
Mm-hmm. Now, with that, is there any financial advice y'all have for people during COVID right now? Like, I know they got their stimulus checks. Some people got their stimulus checks. Some people are losing jobs. Any advice that y'all have for them right now?
Definitely put some money away for savings. Try to pay off debt and put some money away for savings. Definitely, because talking about having a rainy day fund. This is that day. It's raining. So
it's thunderstorm outside.
So definitely, if you could put the money away, if you could pay down debt, that's extremely important. And then if you want to get involved in investing, educate yourself. There's a variety of different platforms. Like I said, Market Mondays. That's a great tune in to Market Mondays. Educate yourself.
Yeah, go Ian.
Kobe Trapper, his episode, just his platform in general, a bunch of different stuff. I'm sure your platform full of educational nuggets for people.
Sure.
So educate yourself, and you might want to invest in your education too. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this might be the opportunity to actually get a course or do an online seminar, or online training, and stuff like that. This is an opportunity for people to actually spend money. How I look at it is, money that's spent on education is an investment, not an expense. So if you're educating yourself, sometimes it costs money, sometimes it's free. But just use the money wisely. And I don't think people really have an opportunity to actually spend it frivolously now.
Yeah,
where you want to go? You got to know where to spend it. So you save it.
Well, some people are online shopping. They're doing a whole bunch of online shopping right now.
Yeah, I just seen a couple stores say they're not even shipping anything that's not essential. So
really,
good luck. Yeah, it's crazy.
That's right.
It's a time to be creative and find a skill, because when we come out of this, right, the people who have skills, like specific skills, are definitely going to be needed. So make sure that y'all use this time wisely.
It's true. And Rashad, I didn't mean to interrupt you. You were still speaking. Did you?
No.
Do you have more to say on that?
No, that's it.
Awesome. All right, we got our last question. And Tonda says, in regards to how you made your million, so how you got to 1 million followers and 1 million downloads, what did you do you feel to really make it grow? Like, I heard you say you didn't really run ads, but what do you think was the thing that really helped grow you guys this year?
Originality, organic content, consistency.
Mm-hmm.
That's it, really. And I learned that early on from somebody, a mentor of mine that was on social media before I was, and she's like, look at your competition and do the exact opposite of what they're doing, or everybody else here in Philly doing the exact opposite. So our growth, our success has been powered 100% by the people, and that's really just been on just being creative, being original, and really just putting out content on a consistent basis. That's it.
Yeah, consistency. Like I said, like once something, we do something consistently, it's become a habit. So like, we know when people have their phones, they know Tuesday at 5 they're gonna get their episode. They know at 11 or 12 they're gonna get a post. At 2 or 3 o'clock they're gonna get a post. At 6 they know it's coming. So it's like they're looking forward to it. It becomes part of their daily routine, their daily schedule. So consistency.
Yeah.
Amen. Any last things that y'all would like to say or tell the people?
That's it.
We've been on an hour. Can you believe it? It's like 12:59. Time flew.
It's cool because like we've been interviewing people like for a year and almost a little bit over a year, and like I think we've only been interviewed like 3 or 4 times. So this is fun.
Yeah.
I'm so excited we got to share your story, because you're right. Like, we always see y'all in the interview seat.
Yeah,
for sure. And I would just tell people to stay encouraged. There's difficult times that we're in, but there's also opportunity. There's opportunity in every crisis, and this is definitely a crisis. So there's a lot of opportunity. So I would tell people to stay encouraged and to double down on your education. Right now is a time to map out your plans. And that's another thing too. Earn your leisure. It's like when we first started, like I actually literally drew a plan that I wanted to see how for Earn Your Leisure, like for the next like 10 months, like when we first started. And I look at that sometimes, I'm like, that's really dope. And people underestimate the power of writing down goals, writing down your vision board, writing down your plan. So, this is an opportunity that we all have free time on our hands now. So use it wisely. I know it could be difficult if you got, bills to pay and, you're worrying about where your next meal is coming from. But if you have time to think, map out your plans, educate yourself, and when this is over, hopefully you'll be in a much better space.
Yeah, power of the mind is not a joke, y'all. Use it wisely. And I would just say to check on each other more than ever at these times. A lot of people are living in isolation. Check on your loved ones, check on your friends, people that you haven't reached out to in a long time. Just check on them, make sure everything's going good. Because mental health is something that we really need to take seriously in our community for sure. And coming out of this, we're definitely going to, because a lot of people are suffering in silence. And now that they're living in isolation, it's doubled down on it. So just check on your loved ones, check on your friends, reach out, send them a hey text, because we got to get through this together.
Yeah.
Amen. And how can they find you guys? How can they find you?
Earn Your Leisure on all platforms. Instagram, Earn Your Leisure, Facebook, Earn Your Leisure. EarnYourLeisure.com has all of our information. Spotify, Apple, YouTube. So yeah, you can go to our website, and you can go to any social media outlet and any podcast site, YouTube. All of the stuff is right there. So.
Thank you, guys. Thank y'all so much for coming. This was absolutely amazing. It's good to just hear your story and hear the background. I didn't know y'all had got this big in just 1 year. Like, that's amazing. What y'all are doing is incredible. So keep it up. Thank you guys so much. And for all y'all who want to see the replay, I know you're going to want to. If you go to investwithteri.com, you can learn more about my program, but also we have the replays up. So look in about a day, and the replay of this will be up there too. So, all right. Thank you guys so much. Have a good day.
Thank you. Be safe.
Thank you.